it's not real strong.
Hashtag pull a Polito.
From a different.
Now you get to be with the real deal.
Yes!
Where's my phone? It's up there.
Get the pull a Polito. She's turning Polito into a pull a Polito.
All right, let's
So
all take a selfie.
before we start, everybody, gotta get that good angle.
Wait, we can't.
Everybody,
We'll do two sides.
Woo!
Okay, now that side. Got it. Oh yeah, don't worry, it's a skinny.
We just wanted to get in the picture.
Not just because she's Italian, but I feel like Patty and I could be related to her. She's been somebody that I've always admired. And when I got to know you a little bit better, I said, I even admire you more. And I wanted to start out by sharing your story. And do you know that Laura was part of the original STEAM team of the company? So she was one of the people very important to develop the recipes and the input that went into our quick cookers. So doing the real food, real fresh, real fun is part of your makeup, and I'll just let you take it over.
Thank you, everybody. So, thank you, Marie, for inviting me to be part of this retreat. I mean, if you can't tell by my accents that I am from New York, and I met, well, I didn't meet, I've known Marie for years, but I was at the Great Spot Retreat in Pennsylvania, where I had the honor, and I was beyond humbled to be the lead trainer for 3 days. And so I did a lot of prep and all that, and my son just moved to San Antonio, and she remembered that. And she says, would you like to be part of our retreat, give you an excuse to come down? And so I did spend 2 days with my son. And he's got a little quick cooker in his kitchen, and you know, it's just so amazing, like when your children grow up with Pampered Chef. And he really is so proud of me and his fiance, and I love him dearly. So I was so excited to just be a sponge, because at Grace Potts Retreat, it was me up there for 3 days. And so I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be a sponge, I'm just going to soak it all in. And then Marie calls me. She's like, Laura, she goes, I'm the only one that heard your story. And I'm like, all right. So she's like, nobody else did, and Patty didn't hear it. And she's like, can you come and just share your story? I'm like, okay, I'll share my story. No, shots.
Yeah, there's a
And she's like, well, she goes, but then can you also do like you're out and about training? I'm like, yes, I could do that. She says, and you're so good at selling at your cooking shows. Can you do that too? And I'm still waiting to like catch my little nap back there in the seats and all that. And she goes, and you gotta do the social media training that you did too. I'm like, okay, so you guys are gonna get like 4 trainings in one in this next hour and like 15 minutes or so. And just for Marie, because I promised her, here's my story, okay? So, and I'm gonna use paper because I have it all written out, because otherwise I would just be on a tangent. So I would just be all over the place. Stop crying, I'm not even up to that part yet. Let it out. Okay. So I am just going to refer to my notes just so I don't just go off tangent. So anyway, I actually used to be the shyest person in the room. I used to be afraid of my own shadow. And I still can't believe at times how I can easily stand in front of a few of you, or at national conference, a few thousand of you, and not be scared at all. Not even be nervous. What I am so flippin' excited. That's what I am. But it did not always turn out like that, okay? And I get all the time, especially from Marie, you are the most positive, the most optimistic, grateful, happy person that lights up the room with your smile. And thank you for the compliments, guys, but I swear to you, it didn't start off like that, okay? My parents, Yolanda and Tony were off the boat. Literally, my father almost fell off the boat. He was a survivor on the Andrea Doria when it sank in the late 50s, when he was coming to America to start a life and to, the land of opportunity and all of that. And actually, he always went to bed early, and it was the last night of the voyage, and his friend said to him, Tony, come on, don't go to sleep. Let's stay up at the top of the ship when we see America, when we sail into New York. And so he was saved. So everybody in the cabin area died but him, because he was in the tours of the cabins. And so when you hear people say, I came to America with a shirt on my back, that is what my father came with, a shirt on my back. And my mother followed a year after on another ship with my brother, who he met for the first time when he was 1 year old, because that's what they did back then, okay? So I grew up under the regime of Yolanda, and let me tell you, it was a tough regime. I was terrified of her. I adored my mother, and I was terrified of my mother. I was afraid to not make her proud of me. I was afraid to not get that 100 on the test. My mother only got to 2nd grade because she was yanked out of school so she could raise her siblings. So she wanted me. She was living through me, so I had to be the best that I could be, okay? But here it goes. My whole life, my mother told me that I was brutina.
Aww.
And that means just a little ugly. Just a little. And I used to hear it all the time. And she adored me. So don't get me wrong, I never doubted it, but I was just a little ugly. And she did it as like a defense mechanism. She did not want to let me venture out. She wanted to keep me close. She wanted to keep me near her. So maybe by calling me that, I wouldn't blossom and I wouldn't. It was an oxymoron because she wanted me to succeed, yet she didn't want to let me go because we had nobody. We had no relatives in the United States of America. My parents, you'll know, they both passed away, and I have a brother I haven't spoken to in years. So there was nobody. So every holiday, every function, it was just us. And she was very reserved. She didn't have a lot of friends. She just maybe made friends with the neighbors and all that. So I was it. I was her buddy, you know. So, saying that, so don't feel bad because you know what? The way she called me brutina, she would call me a tesoro. Does anybody know what that means? What does it mean?
My love.
My treasure.
Oh.
So I was her tesoro. Okay, I was her tesoro. So that's the part that I carry with me right here, not the other part. But I really did have zero self-confidence. And we lived in the Bronx, which by the way has the best bread. Okay, we always had bread in the house. But what we did have in my house was we had American bread to make toast. So toast is what we called it, and I never knew it was called anything else. And my mother told me we were out of toast one day to send me to the store to get toast. And I was terrified to go anywhere because I didn't have a voice. I was terrified to ask for anything. But I was also more scared not to go because she told me and I listened to my mother. And so with everything in me, I went to the corner store and I asked the man, do you sell toast? And he's like, no, we don't have toast. I'm like, I ran home because I'm like, Mom, they don't have toast. She goes, what do you mean? And she's yelling at me in Italian, which was my first language. I learned English in school. And so she dragged me to the store to show me the shelf of Wonder Bread. The toast. And I was like, oh, the toast, okay? Got it, okay. So, got it. So 6th and 7th and 8th grade were hard, okay? I grew up in a Catholic neighborhood. I went to Catholic school my whole life. And Catholic girls are mean. Bitches, let me tell you. They are mean. I was pushed. I was shoved. My basketballs were stolen. My paddleball rackets were smashed. My banana seat bicycle with the streamers hanging off was stolen. I was the teacher's pet because I was the smartest in the class. Remember, I was under Yolanda's regime. Like 99 wasn't enough. I needed the 100. So I pushed myself to do the best I possibly could, and then I got really good at basketball, and I took the spot of one of the really mean bitches that was the star. I was abused. Plus I had zits in all oozing shapes and sizes, and I had the Yolanda Couture haircut, which means that I sat in front of my black and white TV where she would butcher my hair with the sewing scissors, okay? That was my haircut. I never had a professional haircut until I don't even know when. So if you can imagine that, I was abused to no means. That if there was social media back then, there is absolutely no doubt that I would have killed myself with those sewing scissors, for sure. I'm like, it's not even a doubt. But anyway, I graduated 8th grade and I went to a really good high school and I made friends with those girls and I'm still solid to this day with those girls. And my real friends, they saved me. But then I still had to take a speech class in high school, and I remember going to the teacher saying, Mr. Di Palermo, if I don't go first, I am going to throw up on the floor and pee right now. Okay? So you have to let me go first. And so he did. And I just remembered wow, I was so proud of myself. I didn't die in front of my peers. I don't even know what I talked about, but I got through it. But I was like, wow, okay? But now I'm going to fast forward the 2 darkest periods of my life, because when I graduated from high school in '85, that summer my mother got diagnosed with breast cancer, okay? And it's because she's that backward European that didn't go to the doctor, right? Doctors kill you back then. So, and like I say at my shows, my mother had a love of cooking and ginormous boobs, and I missed both of those traits, okay? I totally did. But my mother, she, the cancer was the size of a cantaloupe when they finally took it out. That's how huge it was, okay? And then she fought like crazy to live, and she died in 5 years later in 1990. And then another type of hell struck me, and it was, my father had dementia, and he had Alzheimer's, and it's a different type of hell, right? Right, okay? And so I had 2 choices back then. Either I was going to die, right, and just swallow into myself, or I was going to live. And I was meant to speak to you guys today, so obviously, you know, the second part happened. So I am a positive, optimistic, grateful, happy, and overall content person because I survived hell not once, but twice, okay? So nothing really in our everyday lives or in our PC business is that bad other than watching a loved one suffer and die in front of your eyes and not being able to do one damn thing about it, okay? So whatever's bugging you, whatever's nagging you, stop. Just stop, okay? Oh, and let's add that I had a freak accident in 1992. I actually went to a wedding and I won the flowers and I took the vase home, and when the flowers died in the vase, I washed the vase and it exploded through my wrist and it went right through my wrist. I needed 6.5 hour microsurgery to repair my hands. You see me later, I'm cut from here to here and I only feel half of my hands because the nerves never grew back. So that was fun, and I'm a righty. Okay? But I got through that, I think, because I had already lived through hell. As bad as it wasn't hell. Okay? So, like childbirth, psh, piece of cake. I don't need no medication, no nothing. Right? Because this was even worse than that. So it's amazing, like, when you think something is bad, there's always something worse. And it's amazing what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Because there's nothing in Pampered Chef. We sell kitchen products that could be that bad, people, please. Give me a break. So why my story and why now? Well, when I was preparing for my close at Grace Bot's retreat back in October, the book by Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face, that's when it hit the shelves. And Melody Govic actually posted a picture of the book, and she's like, go get the book. And something just made me go and get the book that day, and I read it in 3 days. Yeah, okay? Who didn't read the book yet? At this point, okay, read it. Okay, definitely go and read that, okay? So the reason I just opened up to all of you is that Rachel opened up exactly the same way to her readers in the book. I'm going to insist you go home and read it. Basically, she says, if you're going to make something of this life, ain't nobody going to do it except for you. Your life is up to you, and you choose your own happiness, and you control your own life, and you need to identify and destroy every lie you've ever told your entire life to yourself. And she gives each lie its own chapter in the book, but I'm going to refer to the lies you tell yourself about your Pampered Chef business. I can never quit my real job and just do PC. Lie. I can never learn all these products. Lie. I can never go Facebook Live. Lie. I can never meet strangers and make connections out and about. Lie. I can never make full-time money on part-time hours. Lie. I can never stay home and raise my kids and still make mortgage money. Lie. I can never recruit. Lie. I can never grow my own team. Lie. I can never become a director or an upper director at PC. Lie. I can never earn Founders Award. Lie. I can never become an elite seller. Lie. I can never earn a trip. Lie. I can never earn the elite level of a trip. Lie. I can never earn excellence awards. Lie. I can never sell $1 million. Lie. I'm almost up to 1.5. Anyway, I can never be a Feeding America ambassador. Lie. I can never speak on the national conference stage. Lie. I can never take a good selfie or food picture. That was questionable with some of you people, but for me it's a lie. I haven't mastered that, okay? I can never speak at a retreat in Texas in front of Judy Joel. And I can never inspire people to be great in this business. Lie. Guys, you've heard it again and again that every single person, even Doris Christopher, our amazing founder, started with a kit and a dream, okay? And look at all the upper level directors and nationals. Everyone started with that, as a new consultant at some point. It takes work, hard work to do business, to do this business, but it's the most rewarding work you'll ever have. It's a work of service. We service families, our hosts and our customers and everyone in their circle who take the time to use our products and cook a meal together. We service consultants who are looking to get out of a crappy way or become confident men and women. Our leaders service each other, and I wouldn't be standing right here without my personal PC tribe and my PC family. Guys, you are my side of the family. Remember that. I don't have a side of the family anymore. You guys are it. Tough roles to fill, but too bad. You're it, okay? But you can't come to the wedding because we're really cutting on like I really just can't come. You know, my son's like really like, Mom, I can't invite all your family. I know. So are you going to suck at the beginning and believe those lies? Of course you are. But here's the one thing. Every day you're doing life, and the precious gift of life is, God willing, that we get another chance tomorrow, right? So guys, if you're unhappy, that's on you. And if your business sucks, that's on you too. Okay? It is. Freaking girl. I'm telling you, ain't nothing but no fluff with me, okay? I hate fluff. So how do you get better in this business? Well, of course you attend this retreat in the backwoods of Texas, right? Okay?
All right now, come on.
Right?
Come on.
I mean, I was driving, I was like seeing nothing. I'm like, well, plus, you know, the weather was horrible. I probably missed some beautiful places, but everything was just gray, right?
Stay a couple days longer.
I know. No, I'm actually loving Texas because my son loves Texas. So I love Texas. I do. But anyway, seriously, stop comparing yourself, okay? This is what Judy was saying before. Don't compare yourself to someone's middle or end. Surround yourself with positivity, right? I am like here with all of you guys. I mean, you got to suck in that positivity. You become who you surround yourself with, okay? And figure out what makes you happy and do those things. In fact, the first lie, she says, is that something else will make you happy. When you're engaged and you're choosing to enjoy life, it doesn't matter where you are or even when negativity gets hurled at you. You'll find happiness because it's not about where you are, but who you are. Okay? So you are in charge of your own business, and there's not one thing that you're doing or that you're not doing that you are not allowing to be there. Right? Think about it. Guys, God has perfect timing. If you aren't of a similar faith, think about that everything happens exactly when it's supposed to. I'm supposed to be sleeping with you, Jeannie, right? And Lisa, where's my next roommate? There you go. I've never met them before. So maybe you set the wrong goal and you're actually destined for a bigger and better one. Why not? Maybe you have to do life as it is now to prepare yourself for what's coming later. Okay? Okay, so whether you like this explanation or not, you are growing for the person you're becoming and for the future in this business you can't imagine. So go ahead, set your goals, and don't set limits. Goals can help you become your best self, and big dreams should not have expiration dates. I want everyone in this room to get a hold of their business, because it's your business and no one else's. You decided to invest in this weekend. Stop being afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Talk to strangers. Go Facebook Live. Stop saying yes to everything and prioritize your business activities and take care of you. Stop the negative self-talk. Stop putting it off for tomorrow. Stop crying about what happened to you in the past. I do not cry about my past, guys. I'm able to speak to you today because of it. So girls, hike up your big girl bloomers and wash your face. And now let's get into some real training. What do you think? Yeah. All right, so that's one.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I just want to interject right here. I never knew that story till I heard it at Grace's. And I said, you know, nobody knows somebody else's story. You know, you think you know somebody and then you find out something about them and they're totally different. And, you know, I've never seen you without a smile, without you looking beautiful. And, so anyway, we are thrilled. And you're one of the top sellers, so we're looking forward to hearing about the whole in-person experience. Let's just say we're thankful. Let's give you
So before we get into the art of selling, we need shows to sell. So if you don't have shows, you need to find shows, right? So I'm so tired of people saying nobody wants this, nobody wants to do paper job. So I don't know how it came about because I've been learning about like meeting and talking to strangers since I started, which is almost 19 years ago, right? And I'm sure there's been trainings on Consultants Corner for years about, you know, out and about trainings and stuff like that. But I think it's because I just started sharing like how I started getting them, especially like in coffee talk. Are you guys all into Saturday morning coffee talks, right? Yeah. And so I just liked, you know, I'm into pictures and all of that. I'm going to get into that. And I just love to share. Like I really, you know, I just love to help other people. And so if I could tell you the backstory of how I met someone like at the nail salon, I just do it not to brag, look what I did. It's so I can encourage somebody else to say, you know what, let me get out of my own way. And if I have a calendar that's like completely blank, I need to fill it. So maybe I'm going to do some things because she's doing it and she's not dead, right, doing it. So I'm going to try to do that. And so that, like, I don't know how somewhere, like I'm sharing the story and someone else says, oh, I'm going to go do it. I'm like, yeah, just go pull a Polito. So I think I just, like, as a joke just said that. And then, I don't know, maybe Tiffany put a hashtag in front of it or something. I don't even know how it even started. But that hashtag pulled a Polito started. And let me tell you, just this last week, I even let Judy know, I practically started crying because if you opened up Coffee Talk, no joke, I counted over 20. Pull the Politos and the story. Pull the Politos and the story. Pull the Politos and the story. And I was just almost crying because these are people like, I don't even know who this person is. And then I like peeked at the timeline. This is Pampered Chef Consultant. I'm saying, oh, maybe she's new. Maybe she's been in the business for 15 years and just, you know, is maybe doing one show like Susan was doing, right? And like all these names that I've never heard. Like I was so excited to come here today into Texas because I only knew a handful of you. And I'm like, there's so many people that I could learn from in this business, and I'm going to be hanging out with you guys for 4 days, right? Yeah. So like, I don't know, like a lot of you, so, not yet, okay? I'm going to know all of you in 3 days.
Watch out, everybody.
But seriously, I mean, if you see your team members in there, like posting something, like I don't just like clap and everything, then I kind of dig further into the post and I'm like, well, tell me how that made you feel. And people are saying, you know, it made me feel really good. I can't believe I did it. I was so proud of myself. And that's not for me to just throw a question out there. I want the next person to read that and say, wow, she was scared and she felt really good. Like I wanted to like grow organically. Does that make sense?
Yes,
so if you see your people in there, encourage it and get the story behind how they spoke to people. So I do out and about contacts and I've been doing them for years. I just happen to like post it all about it on Coffee Talk, but I'm sure many of you do, like Moulton does, okay? But you gotta be like ready for them, right? You gotta be physically ready. So that means that you gotta look at what you look like in the mirror, right? So when you go out the door, because you know if you look your worst, you're gonna see people and you're gonna try to avoid them instead of going towards them, right? So check yourself. I mean, just make sure your clothes are clean. Make sure there's no mayonnaise on your teeth from the night before. Like clean yourself up, right? But seriously, the number one accessory you guys can put on is a smile, okay? There was something on Facebook where a photographer was going around the streets of another country taking pictures of people and stopped at the man that was frowning and went over to the next person and took a picture. And the man says, well, what about me? And he had like a real like sad face on. And the photographer's like, oh, okay. And the man smiled, and all of a sudden his entire demeanor changed. Yeah. And he became approachable, and he became nice looking, and he wasn't very scary. Because face it, some people look scary when they're serious, right? And so he did a whole thing, and maybe in Facebook sometimes if I see it, I'll like post it in Coffee Talk, where he did a split screen of someone with a somber, serious face, and then what they look like when they smiled. And like you wouldn't talk to most of those people that were having a somber face, but then everybody that smiled just became so much more approachable. So if you don't think that people are strangers are going to give you their, make you take pictures with them and give you contact information and what like that, you got to put on want to smile. So practice that, okay? So you have to be physically ready. But also, so if you do end up talking Pampered Chef, you know, you got to have some material with you, right? So I always, my pocketbook weighs a ton, okay? I make sure that it has a full-size catalog in there, multiples, right? I even keep in there a catalog show packet. I'll get into that in a little bit. But I always have material. There is never a time that you will not find a mini in my bag, a full catalog in my bag, a recruiting information in my bag, even my business cards in my bag, okay? I always, always carry that in there. And if I end up, you know, replacing and giving it out at the store, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go in my car, because if you go in my car, you know the back pocket is jammed with catalogs and more, okay? So I can replace whatever was in my pocketbook, okay? There is no reason why you can't have a carfus. You know what that is, right? Like a car office, right? A carfus, okay? Definitely. A carfus, yeah. And I got that from Kristen something. She does like these videos from another state or whatever. Anyway. So, yeah, so I always carry at least one catalog show packet in my bag, because if you're seeing people and you start talking with them and they get excited, you want to get them when they're excited, right? You don't want to like lose that momentum. Gosh, you don't want to spend money on postage. I hate spending money on postage, which is why I book always at my parties, because I can't stand spending money on priority mail and all that nonsense. But anyway, so and then I just use my girlfriendshouse.com envelopes. You guys all know them by now, right? The really pretty ones. They look very fun in festivals, different colors and things like that. Yeah. 2 catalogs. I throw in there 3 order forms, because I always encourage $75 orders. 75 times 3 is $225. I make color copies of the host information. I throw in there the guest special, the recruiting flyer, the kit coupon, right? I just use company material, guys, right? You do not have to duplicate anything. You don't have to make fancy flyers and all that. You could just use company materials, and that's what I've done for 19 years, is just use the materials that Pampered Chef gives us, okay? But now, are you mentally ready? Okay, so you're looking good, you're not looking all grungy and all that, you're ready to talk to people, you got your information on you, but is your mind there, right? Like, are you really afraid to talk to strangers? Because if you are, you need to practice with non-Pampered Chef questions, right? Because really, in the end, like, you're afraid of rejection, right? You're afraid of people saying no, but you know what? You got to start off with compliments, right? Always find something to compliment someone on. If someone says, I like your shoes, no one's going to say, oh, she's a bitch, she liked my shoes. No one's going to do that, right? If someone has a nice haircut, ask them where they got their haircut from. You know, I've asked people, I love your hair. Do you get it styled here? I'm looking for a new hairstylist, right? You go into a new coffee shop, a new deli, a new eatery or whatever, and you're looking at like the menu and you don't know what to get. You know, ask the person in front of you, behind you, what do you like here? If someone's a regular person that goes in there all the time, they're going to tell you, oh, definitely got to get this or definitely got to get that. Just practice talking to people, okay? Don't ever assume the gender of a baby either. I'm just going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you, because I don't, but my husband, we sold our pool, okay? And so the baby came, the parents came to take down the pool, and this beautiful, beautiful baby was in the mommy's arms, and my husband's like, oh, what a beautiful little girl. She's like, his name is Jake. I'm like, okay, get it? Beautiful little girl. It was a boy. His name was Jake. My husband was mortified. I'm like, Joe, just say it's a beautiful baby. I'm like, I don't care if the baby looks like a monkey. It's still a beautiful baby, okay? Or ask how old is the baby. Just don't ever assume gender, right? And so it's always a beautiful baby. Always.
That's right.
Never ask, when's your baby?
Yeah. No. So anyway, so yeah, so you want to practice just talking to people. So, but what if you do want to start getting into the conversation of Pampered Chef? You need an elevator pitch, right? You need to know what to say to get them to want more information. So, what exactly is an elevator pitch? In a nutshell, it's just what it sounds like. It's a short 30 to 60 second, well-crafted business pitch telling someone who you are and what you do. And it's called the elevator pitch because it's meant to represent the amount of time you have if you are stuck in an elevator when someone is riding from the bottom to the top. And a solid elevator pitch will allow you to distill down to the most purest form exactly who you are and what you offer. And when you do that right, that focus, that laser focus can help you get those new customers and hosts and recruits. So think of it as a commercial and you are the product. And you've got 30 seconds to market yourself and convince whoever is listening to not only not change the channel, but to want to continue that conversation and to buy something from you or continue the business, okay? So how do you write an elevator pitch? Well, what do you do? Can you tell someone what you do in such a way that is interesting? Can you turn it into a quick little sentence, one sentence that will capture someone's attention, wanting more information? And what makes you the best at what you can do? What's your hook? And most importantly, what do you want? The nice thing about an elevator pitch is that it's short and sweet and to the point, which means that once you get the basics figured out, you should be able to use it on anyone in any situation. Meaning that you have different pitches for whether you're looking for sales, whether you're looking for recruits, whether you're looking for more shows, right? So you have to have multiples because you've got 30 seconds. You cannot throw up on them with anything more than a sentence. So it has to be laser focused. Here's some elevator pitch mistakes to avoid. Speaking too fast. Okay, that's a tough one for me, right? Because I just want to throw up Pampered Chef, but I have to stop, okay? You have only 30, 60 seconds max. So you have to try to avoid cramming 15 minutes into that 30-second time frame, okay? And you don't want to use technical terms or acronyms or slang. Like you don't want it in your elevator pitch to ever have words like qualified and PC dollars and quick cooker. They don't even know what that is. We sell pressure cookers, right? That's the lingo, generic lingo. Because the last thing you want those people to think is that they're stupid, right? Like maybe they should know what qualified means. Like what the heck's a quick cooker? I'll just guess this crazy lady to death, right? Like you don't want that, right? So you want to avoid, you want your pitch to be easily understood by any audience. And so that means using certain words avoid using words that will confuse them. Remember. Anyway. So and also not practicing what you're going to say. That is a big mistake. So you want to write down your pitch. We're going to have a little exercise. I don't want you guys to do it in a minute, but you want to read it over. You want you to have your friends and your family read it. And does it make sense, right? Because you have to practice on someone before you let them to practice it on your unsuspecting poor victims out there in the land, right? So does it make sense? Make sure it flows well and that there aren't any spots that feel weird, right? And here's the thing. You can't borrow someone else's. Because the way you say something is not the way someone else will say something, right? Which is why it's so important when we go into like social media, like stop taking people's words word for word, okay? Borrow their picture, do not borrow their words. Because it needs to sound like you, okay? It needs to sound like you. And I don't care, my pictures are all over the place because I love I take nice food pictures, but don't take my words. And so don't take someone else's words. Develop your own language, okay? Because and then another mistake is being robotic. This is, like, if it's robotic, it's not going to sound genuine, okay? It's going to sound like a commercial and you're just saying words. You got to speak from the heart, guys. You have to speak from the heart. And then if you do have that elevator pitch and you do get information that they want, well, do you have stuff on you, right? You got to have material to back it up. Of course, you could always send them a link these days and things like that, so it's not quite as it was like years ago, but you have to still be able to send them something. And then here's the worst mistake you could possibly make. You have this amazing pitch. Everybody approved it. It's great. It's good for recruiting. Then you got one for shows. Then you got one for selling. And then you're too scared to use it. Right? That's the biggest mistake. You're putting all this time into doing it, and then you don't actually use it. Right? You just wasted your time, and time is money. Right? So here are some examples. Okay? I do pressure cooker parties, and I make a mean chocolate lava cake in 10 minutes. Maybe someone will say, tell me more. I own my own business, and I provide fun and easy meal ideas for busy families through live cooking parties and through Facebook. I am a recruiter and a trainer, and I'm actively looking for people that would love to own their own business and make money on their own terms. Or I provide solutions to that famous question, what's for dinner? So people may say, ooh, tell me more. I help get families back around the table with a healthy meal that takes under 30 minutes to prepare. Or I help busy folks learn quick and easy recipes while using top quality kitchen tools. You want to know what mine is? Honestly, I sell Pampered Chef for almost 19 years. Have you heard of Pampered Chef? I get right to the kicker. I get right in there because at this stage of the game, people pretty much know. But because I'm so nice and I am approachable, people will talk talk to me. It like blows my mind. People will absolutely talk to me. You know what? I am so stinking proud of this company, and I am so stinking proud of what I do that I feel that it oozes out of my pores. And so people will pick up on that. I'm not doing something to them, I'm doing something for them. And you've got to get that out of your way if you ever think that you're doing something to someone, because it's not true. So do you guys want to take a minute or two? Do we have time, Marie, to write an elevator pitch? And then you guys, you have to fine tune it.
People are at a round table, it'd be nice if they share with each other their...
Yeah. And pick one thing that you really would love to focus on. Don't do all of them, because this is something that is a work in progress, because you need to practice it. So take a couple of minutes and maybe write out an elevator pitch, okay? Oh gosh, okay. You're not gonna spoon it, are you?
That was it. That was
What?
What did you say? Her elevator pitch.
Is I've been volunteering with Jeff for 18 years. I'd like to be a chef.
She said she goes flat out.
Okay.
It's none of that fancy, straight.
Just do it for like 2 minutes or so.
That's what I said. I mean, I'm a pamper chef in South Southwest. Are you familiar with pamper chef? Because I don't feel genuine.
And if you already have a really good one, share it with your table so that way they have an idea of what
And it's true to wear, that bags, use our bags, we have a t-shirt. Even when I go to the grocery store, I use our shopping cart, shopping bag.
Oh, yeah.
And I have so many people stopping me.
You know what else stops people? When you have 10 boxes of cake mix in a grocery store. That one I use often.
And the cashier usually does know you're having a party and both transactions are the same, and they ask me, why do we have twice the same groceries?
Yeah, and you want it rung up twice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the people standing in front of your cart looking at it. Well, I always look at people's carts. I always,
They see 10 boxes of cake, they'll say, oh, do you do cake? So dinner. No, I'm a pamper chef consultant. I make cake and some
What do you usually say, Marianne? What do you usually say?
To what?
To that
Oh, when somebody asks us to finish it out with a pamper chef, I try it right away. Or, people stop me when they see my, because I have a shirt that says on the back, on my tongue, I forgot. I'll keep calm myself in the check.
Oh, okay.
And people just stop me. You see pamper chef? Because I just read it.
close speak for you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I had people actually say, oh, I don't know anyone who sells pamper chef. I said, yes, you do. I do. And this person and this person and this person would love to have a party with you.
What do you mean, this person? Just the people that are in line around?
My consultants. My consultants that are we have 4 of us in our town. But we all keep different aspects of our town. That's what's good.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys in the same? No, not you.
She's in Pepper.
Where are you?
I'm in Canadian.
An hour.
She has to come to the big town of Pampa to go to Walmart.
Yours is the big town.
Yeah. And then we have to go to the big town of Amarillo, another hour to go to Sam's.
Oh my God. I know. I'd be like,
It's closer for me to drive to Kansas than it is to come see you. That is crazy.
Are you serious?
I do shows
Well,
in
that's
Kansas.
true. I mean, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's 2 hours.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Kansas is 2 hours. Yeah. Is this dirt?
Wait.
I'm in the Panhandle.
Kansas.
so you're in that part.
So that I can go to Kansas in 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Do a lot of shows.
No, I've had it already.
A couple a year.
Oh, wow.
And if we run out, I'll just go steal another. I'll switch out baskets. And I'll take it.
There's another big town. 6 hours
Oh,
to
is it?
Dallas.
Okay, wow.
And it took us 7 hours to get here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She'll say, I'm coming to
Same boy.
Houston. Are you going to be able to come? I'm like, Patty, it's 10 hours.
That's what you buy
Say,
these
I'm coming to Houston. Are you
Or they give you
coming?
the free
I'm like,
stickers.
no, it's 10
Free
hours.
stickers, and they want you to go online and buy finish it, and I forgot to go online and buy the other shit.
What other shit? Where?
This I forgot what that company is called now. They use it as a fundraiser. I didn't order anything. I just kept the free stickers. But I was gonna order Christmas gifts, and I just totally got busy doing other stuff.
So what do you say when people ask you?
Ask me what?
Why do you have 10 boxes of cake mix in your car?
Because I sell peppered chef and I make the cake in 10 minutes. Yeah. Or nowadays it's more why there's so many chocolate chip muffin packages in your cart, because I do the chocolate chip cakes.
Who wants to share an elevator pitch?
Oh, come on, Mona.
Okay, go ahead.
Something from your table. It doesn't
We have some right here. What's your name again?
Mary Lusto. I'm with Pampered Chef. I bring friends together and teach them to make, my screen is blank. I bring friends together and teach them to make real food real fast with top-notch kitchen products.
Nice.
Who else wants to share? Nobody else has one?
Okay.
Go ahead, Tennille.
All right. So when you're standing in the grocery store, we were talking about this. I used to have to buy like 10 cake mixes at one time. And people would say, oh, that's a lot of cake mix. What are you doing with it? And I would say, well, I'm a pampered chef consultant and I make cakes in 10 minutes. And then we start there.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's actually one of mine in here. Yeah. So it's something, guys, that you got to work on it, because right, the whole idea is if you're going to go out, you want to be intentional. So besides, looking your part and knowing, paperwork and all that, you got to be quick, because people are jutting, right? You don't know how much time you have with people, so you got to perfect the elevator pitch based on, yes, Jeannie.
What I do is, I make them ask me what I do.
It doesn't always work though.
Well, a lot of times, most of the time
So
it does
how do
for
you
me.
make that, how?
I use the phrase, well, in my business, it's like we're having a conversation about something. I'm just saying in my business. And then they automatically say, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
I sell pampered
Sometimes,
chef.
yeah, sometimes. Yeah. You gotta assume that you're not gonna be asked though, like you still gotta get out there. So, you know what, that in a perfect world, people will say to you, oh, what do you do, right? Giving you the platform, right? So when I ask someone about like, oh, tell me about your kids, what are their names? I'm waiting for them to kind of say to me, well, do you have kids? And what are their names? And I don't get that back. Right. So you can't assume that it's a give and take when people are scattered and busy and whatnot. So you gotta be, right, you have to be on. You have to be on. So grocery store, that is like the easiest place to make those out and about contacts, right? And this part is optional, but if you have the guts, go shopping with your apron, right? We all have it.
Yeah.
Go shopping with your apron, right? Yes.
So we were just talking about it as well. I use always our shopping bags.
Yes.
When I go shopping and I have a Pampered Chef shirt on, and people just stop me, where did you get those bags from? I said, well, I'm with the Pampered Chef. Or they even stop me saying, are you with the Pampered Chef? Because I need a consultant.
Yeah.
So,
You could use the apron, you could use the shopping totes that we sell, but we all have the tote that the kit comes in. Use it to go shopping, right? And strategically place it like where people can see you. Right? We all have the tote. So we are talking about being duplicatable and teaching your new people how to get out there and talk to strangers and get people to notice it. They all have the tote and they all have the apron, okay? So there's no excuse to say, I don't have logo wear. It's going to get you if you strategically place it where people can see you, right? So is the logo facing out that way because you're pushing your cart and you want people to see it? Or like now it's like you're at the checkout line and the line is that way. So now that gets turned around so that the logo is that way and I'm stepping this way, right? Like you strategically have to place the logo where you want the logo to be seen, right? So you have to do that. But one of my examples, Tennille nailed it. Cake mixes are on sale. I have it right here. Fill up your cart with mixes and frosting and say, I love lava cakes and I make them in 10 minutes. And right, it's in there, okay? I channeled my Tennille. I didn't even know I was doing it. I told you I'm glad we can reconnect it, right? Or like go shopping with the Season's Best Cookbook, right? In the quick cooker, we now have the red lentil spinach soup mix, right? Walk around, ask people, do you know where red lentils are? Yeah, find some weird ingredient that is not easy to find and ask someone in the aisles, do you know where the red lentil is? I have this Pampered Chef recipe that requires red lentils. You just want to get those those 2 magic words out there because that's all that you need sometimes for the face to light up. Yeah. And here you go. When you say the words, you look at the face. And if it lights up, damn it, that's like, it is so classic. You know the look. When people know what Pampered Chef is. Yes or no, right?
Yes.
You gotta be on the lookout for it though, because like sometimes people just glaze over. And if that's the case, you glaze over them too and say, oh, it's okay. Like how many times, like I do this constantly, I don't say Pampered Chef to every stranger that I talk to, because you know that sometimes it's just a little bit too much work, right? So you wanna get the ones that love it, because let me tell you, it's a sweet spot, right? Is that not golden, right? So, or at the apple stands, right? Go next to someone picking apples and just be like, do you know which apples are good? And usually they'll say, no, I just, take a guess, half the times I'm like, well, do you want me to teach you a great tip? Pick up an apple. Let's pick one up together. And let's look at that bud on the bottom. If it's closed, then that means it's a fresh apple. But if you look upside down and then you see that it's like there's that hole in there, that means it's been sitting there for a while. So that means you're going to bite into it, it's mealy, and the person's like, oh, I hate that. I'm like, I know. I said, so that's a great little tip. I'm with Pampered Chef, and I'm loaded with kitchen tips. And again, for that expression. When you see it, you'll know it. Okay, so your assignment is to find the stranger and say those words and look for that expression because it's golden, okay? Or like you look for a specific pasta or something. Seriously, use your Season's Best cookbook and go through it and find like a weird thing and ask for help, right? And you could even if you don't have a dog, go down the dog food aisle because you know the quick cooker makes dog food, right? Because there's people that treat their pets better than they treat their humans. Yeah, Michael Yoakley makes dog food all the time in that quick cooker. You could go in the quick cooker.
Not like Alpo, like chicken and rice.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you clarified that.
Right? Okay. But yeah, I have it in here. Carmela, ce l'ho scritto qui. Shopping totes, right? Okay? I had a lady standing outside the restroom waiting for me to come out so she could ask me, where'd you get those totes? Okay? And that was when it was only a consultant item. Do you remember that tiny window where I could not sell it to them? And I was just like, oh. Anyway, the nail salon is the easiest place to talk Pampered Chef because you're always sitting around people just waiting around, right? So you look at the person next to you and she's got the most hideous color you've ever seen in your life. But I love that nail polish. Too bad I can't get that color because I do Pampered Chef cooking parties and I would mess up my nails, right? Again, you look for the face. Or if it's a neutral color, I love that color because I do Pampered Chef parties and that'll be a perfect color to do at my party so I don't mess up my nails. Again, you look for the face, okay? So that is really, really perfect, okay? Oh my God, the doctor's offices. That's where I drop off all my old catalogs, always, okay? You always do, but you don't just assume and you just plop them down. You ask the people behind the counters if it's okay. You ask the receptionist. Because very, very rarely do they say, no, we're not allowed. And so why waste it? Because if they're cleaning up the waiting room, they're chucking that, right? So ask permission before you leave them. But what I'll do is I'll say, oh, I'm with Pampered Chef. Is it okay if I leave a couple of old books? And usually they will say 99% of the time, yes. And I'll say, okay, but I'm leaving an old one behind because I just want to leave them as a business card, right? It's like a 64-page business card, so leave them behind. On the back of all of my, all my old catalogs, I write on there, save 20% on your first order. Contact me. Use code MAMO. So I know where that book got that order, okay? So it's just an easy way. I can give 20% off because I'm an elite seller, so I make 33%, so big deal. I'm getting an order. I'll give you 20%. I'm going to still make 13%, but it's not even about the sale. I want the customer, right? Because I want to be able to follow up. But then at the receptionist says yes, what you say to them is, okay, but I'm going to give them the books and the old ones. I'm going to give you a new book. I said, okay, you guys want to see the new book? Ooh, right? Can I check back with you in a couple of days, see if anybody in the office likes it? Give them the same discount. I will give 20% off to anybody that wants to place an order. Now, whatever the discount is, you want to make it about them, right? I'm just doing something nice to them. If they like Pampered Chef, again, you look for that expression on their face, they will always say that. Here's another great way to get contacts. Fundraiser tables. I'm in, like in New York, there's always the table for the ASPCA. Then there's going to be a ton of tables for Relay for Life and the baseball teams, right? And the dance teams. Do you go to the tables or do you walk the other way around the other side of the parking lot to avoid them? I take $1 out of my bag and I go right up to the table. I'm like, here's $1 for your bucket, right? Because they're always looking for that. I said, who's running your table? I have a great way. I'm with Pampered Chef and I would love to offer your organization a fundraiser. Usually it's like, you know, if it's like the Boy Scouts, they have like a shift. Like, you know, Dad and his son is doing like the 2-hour shift and then the next person. So it's usually never the head of the chair of the table, whatever, but get their information. Leave your contact information. Who is running it? Is it an email? Even if it's just an email, right? So you have an excuse because sure, they can make a couple of bucks at the table, but you can offer them so much more, guys, right? So go right up to those fundraiser tables. Look for them. Look for them. They are everywhere. Oh, this one is, I'm going to be videotaped on this one, but this one's so bad. So if I totally make a judgment, like I really like Jeannie, right? So I'm like looking at that lady in the coffee shop and I'm like, oh, I like the way she's dressing, she seems really nice and all that. I go up to her, I'm like, hi! Like, I don't know her from Adam. Hi, Mary, right? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, you're not Mary? Oh, I thought you were just at my Pampered Chef party last night.
That's the best.
Because I'm looking for the face. The face. Yes.
I am totally doing that.
Totally. Because
I am all over that.
I'm mistaking people that I really think I do know, and it's not them. So you know what? I like her. Oh, man, I just make up a name, okay? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, I said, you look just like the girl that came to my Pampered Chef party. You try it. That's another thing I want you guys to all do, okay? Try it.
Now you're asking us.
The only thing that doesn't work for new consultants, because that would be a total lie, okay? Works for absolutely anybody else, all right? But seriously, oh my God, seriously, it totally works. It's not even
I love
funny.
that.
It totally works, okay?
You can pull that off.
Something, yes, okay. All right.
Tennille, you
So
can totally
now,
pull that off.
you have to capture their information, right? So I say to them, like, and because I'm so friendly and my smile is out there and I'm not like, I don't stalk people. Here's the thing. It's like I'm just doing my business. I'm like doing my errands. I'm getting my nails done. I'm doing my hair or whatever. Like I just started talking to these people. Like, listen, I said, I'd love to follow up. I promise I will not harass you with phone calls. Like, you know, I would just like to follow up on you in a couple of days, see if there's anything you would like. If you want to, you know, use your 20% off or whatever. Is it okay if I take your information? Now, I do not take it on paper because you can forget those pieces of paper, right? I have a phone. And if I met her at CVS, I put it in as CVS Mary and the date that I met her, and I met her at the prescription counter. Because that's going to jar my memory. I'm going to forget her name by the time I get in my car.
You don't
Okay?
have a selfie right there?
Do you still do the selfie?
Yeah, I'm not finished, okay? Yes. But first I got to capture the information, but always do it with the name of the store, right? So Stop and Shop, right? CVS, nail salon, ATM Sue. Let me tell you, ATM Sue was in my phone for over a year. So not only do I put them in my phone, I also friend them on Facebook if they're okay with that. Like some people will just accept you. Some people would rather keep their Facebooks smaller, and I totally respect that. But most people say yeah. So you know what? If they have like a common name, like an Ann Jones, I'll say, oh, let me look you up now because your name is a little common. Because you know what? It may have the picture of a tree or a cat or whatever. So I make them find which cat is theirs, and then I find them, okay? And so that's what happened with ATM Sue. I was waiting outside of the ATM after I was waiting at the ATM. I just got my nails done. I forgot to take the ATM card out of my wallet. You know what your wallets look like? Jammed in there. I'm like, I'm not digging in my wallet to get to mess
on purpose too.
No, I didn't. I totally didn't. I totally was actually running to a Pampered Chef party and I forgot to get money out. So here I am with my wallet hanging out at the ATM, and Sue came and I'm like, excuse me. I said, I just got my nails done. Can you go in my wallet and take out my ATM card?
That's not even nuts.
No, seriously, I told her. I said, I just got my nails done. I'm on my way to a Pampered Chef show. Wow, you sell Pampered Chef? I haven't seen that in so long. So I had my phone in my hand with my keys hanging off of my little pinky. I was like, listen, I said, I'm on my way to a Pampered Chef party. I said, yes, I do Pampered Chef. I'm in a rush. I would love for you to take my ATM card. Are you on Facebook and can I have your information? So I quickly put her in. you're never too much in a rush to do that, right? You always have
I don't know about the
so
ATM.
she's in my phone as ATM Sue, and now she's my Facebook friend. And honestly, I think I may have followed up with her and she didn't respond back. Because basically, you know how many times people will look at a message and say, oh, I gotta get back to that, and then they forget, and then I forget. So it was like a year later or so, the spiralizer came out, and this lady Sue is posting all of my things. So, you know, part of like social media training is like, don't continue the conversation in your post, take it into a private message. So now I'm in private message saying, hey Sue, how are we friends? Like, you know, I see you liking my spiralizer. She's like, I don't know how we're friends. Where do you live? I live in Yorktown. Oh, I live in Mayapack. Oh, I always shop in Yorktown. I'm like, wait. I go in my phone, I take a screenshot. I said, are you ATM Sue? And ATM Sue has now had 2 parties with me. She's having a 3rd, and I think I've probably got 4 or 5 or 6 bookings from that party. And I've recruited 1 person. I'm waiting to recruit like one of her nieces or something like that. All because I said the words pampered chef. And it did not happen for over a year. Okay, so just because you're making these contacts, you have to do them a lot. Because it's not going to appear as an order the next day or the show the next day. Okay, that's not reality. But if you build that relationship, and now all these times she's watching my social media. Okay, that's another part of the little training we'll do later. But like, what does your Facebook profile look like? Like, what does your timeline look like? What is your personal brand? We'll get into that a little bit. But I make sure that it's religion free, it's political free, it's curse word free, it's nice pictures, it's family. I want people to see me, the whole person, not just somebody that's selling something to them, right? So she's obviously been looking at all of this. And I've come to find out, oh, I see your posts all the time. And she's never commented. Guys, there's people on your Facebook that will never like a post or they will never comment, but they are reading and watching every single thing you do. So you have to be intentional about every single thing that you put up there, okay? I can't even stress that enough. And in Consultant's Corner, that social media training done by Chanta Mundell and Jane Miller is phenomenal. Who's taking it? Like 2 people in this whole room. Okay, so your homework is under the marketing imagery tab, under the social tab. It says social media training. It is phenomenal. She teaches you, they teach you what to post, how to post with purpose, how to problem solve, right? Because we're just not sellers, we are problem solvers, right? We're a solution-driven company. It teaches you how to create your personal brands. I'm going to get into that later when we do a little selfie thingy going on. But I know my brand. I know what my Facebook looks like. I am proud of my Facebook, right? Anybody at any time can open it up. If Doris Christopher started scrolling, she'd be like, oh, she's so nice. Oh, she's so nice, right? You want it to always be like that, right? You don't want to be trashy or like, you don't want to be down. Like, you know, see, stuff happens in my life too. I don't post my drama, right? My husband pisses me off. You'll never see that on Facebook. You just won't, right? And you know what? I show the best of me on it. I really do, because the other stuff is for my friends to know, right? They get it privately, right? But
Go have a cup of coffee.
yeah, go have a cup of coffee. Do not spill your dirty laundry on Facebook, okay? Just do not do it. So anyway, so yeah, so you capture their information like that, okay? Let me see what else. Be nice, be friendly. Yeah, so I think I did that a lot. Okay, so yeah, so basically guys, everywhere I go, I know that there's a new customer, a new host, and a new team member. But you have to truly ask yourself, is there always a consultant and a recruiter ready to do business? Okay, so be out there and make those out and about contacts. So that's it for that part of the training, okay? Stretch. Hey, I'm doing good on time. This is gonna go good. Okay.
Laura, question. When you post about yourself and house host, is this on your regular?
Personal wall. I only have a personal wall.
You don't have a VIP?
Nope. I do, but I kind of abandoned it because it was just not growing fast enough for me. And like people were saying, you know, where's all your videos and where's all of this and all of that?
And you do your cooking videos.
I do, because you know what? Who gave me permission to do that? Marna Ross. I see Marna posting videos on her personal wall. I'm like, oh, if she can still do them on her personal wall, I'm going to until Facebook kicks us out, right? Because that's where I will get thousands and thousands of views, okay? And yeah, until Facebook tells me otherwise, because I know that it's being seen because there's so much commentary going on, so much back and forth, thousands of views, like literally thousands of views.
And it's just you putting together a recipe, you're not really always selling Pampered Chef, you're just showing.
I'm making the recipe and I'm cross-selling 100 things like she was saying. Yeah.
Pictures she takes are amazing.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that. But Marie really wanted me to talk, because tonight's about the in-person party experience, and she really wanted me to talk about the art of selling things. Oh, 1 second. I'm going to, oh, stop. That was 3 days on that one. This is like
Say
more
again?
than an hour.
Tomorrow is National
Oh, yeah.
Peppermint
Okay, guys,
Patty
so
Day.
tonight we're talking about the art
So I
of
gotta go find some
selling
recipes.
face-to-face. The in-person party experience. And I'm going to kind of be like referencing, when you guys go into Consultants Corner, there's the in-person party training, and then there is the virtual party training, right? So the in-person party training, we were told 2 conferences ago about the in-person party promises. It's all on Consultants Corner. They are, 1, I keep it social. 2, I build relationships. 3, I stay organized. 4, I offer fresh options. And 5, I solve problems, okay? It's all in the in-person party training on Consultants Corner. If you haven't gone there in a while, go back and look at it, because what's also on there is the in-person party theme outline guide. It really truly has the bullet points of what you should be mentioning if you are doing in-person parties. So, I'm going to just say it loud and proud. I am a cooking show consultant. Who's with me on that? Yes! And I've been doing it now for almost 19 years. I've done over 2,000 parties. I'm here this weekend to learn how to do virtual parties, because as Judy was saying, you got to stretch yourself. If I want to be an executive director, I have to ride the Claudia Bazaar bullet train and take it while it's still there and not assume that it's going away and just ride it. So I'm here to learn how to do virtual parties. Okay? I mean, I do them, but my version of a virtual party is I'm going to go Facebook Live in your event for 45 minutes and do my show, right? So it's still a cooking show, but it's in a virtual setting, okay? A couple of posts here and there, and yeah, I have almost like a $450 cooking catalog show average. So, but I want like the Trapowski results, right? I want the Kristen Warango results in all of those. So I'm here this weekend to learn. I only wanted to be a sponge, but whatever, Marie asked me. Okay. So you might say...
the time you could sponge.
What?
I said you'll get to sponge.
Yes, absolutely. So you might say I run my business the Doris way, right? That she started 39 years ago. And I love the cooking shows. I love the person-to-person interaction. Maybe it's because I love hearing the oohs and the ahs when people eat my food, and the groans. You know what I'm talking about? The groans? Oh, when they're eating. Because in my house, this is my daughter. She walks up to the kitchen to the table like, is this weird Pampered Chef food? I don't know if I like it. She'll take a bite and she'll yeah, no thanks. And then she'll go and order sushi or something. I do not get the oohs and the ahs and recognition at home. My husband's a very picky eater and all that. But I also love going into people's houses because I love HGTV. I really do. I love the way people decorate. I love all types of homes, apartments, and trailers, and condos, and mansions, and ranches. I just love it. I just do. And I like driving, so it's all good, okay? But I'm going to tell you,
I love driving.
The cooking party. Let's talk about that. Do you know, guys, that a guest might only attend one party in their entire life?
Oh, wow.
And it's up to you to make sure that it's the best party you have ever done, okay? I'm from New York. I'm an hour outside of New York City. I went to 5 Broadway shows last year, okay? Who here has gone to Broadway shows, okay? Even in Chicago, they have amazing Broadway. That's why I saw Wicked the first time and 3 more times in New York. But anyway, our cooking show reminds me of a Broadway show performance. And you say to yourself, how do these stage actors do the same show with such gusto 8 times every single week? The costumes, the makeup, the scenery, everything, constantly the same thing. Very simply, they know that this one show, Broadway shows are expensive, right? May be the only Broadway show that a theater patron will ever see in their entire life. And these patrons deserve the best of these actors on that stage. So you need to be the best version of yourself for your hosts and your customers at every single show. And let's discuss why we're there. Now the host has done her part, right? She got the people there. And if people backed out last minute, you can't be upset at the host or the people that are there, right? Because they are there. So it's up to you. It may just be a handful of people, but to give those few people the best show that you could ever do, okay? It actually starts before the actual show even starts with the host, when you arrive, and I always now arrive pretty much about 45 minutes to an hour, I want to be completely organized, completely set up. I want all my food to pretty much be all prepped. I want the product right there with the food all graded except for just a little tiny bit. All the messy stuff, all the chicken, all the cutting, all the splats, all this stuff, gone, right? You want it to be all set up. I set up my cutting board with all the tools and the products, the tools and the product, the tools and the products. And you want that recipe to be foolproof. You want to know that it is going to be absolutely delicious. You're looking for the oohs and the ahs and the groans when these people eat it. Like, I am so sick of the lava cake, I could throw up, right? But I make it sound like it's the best cake because they get that reaction over and over again, okay? I've made it 1,000 times, okay? I can't put it even near my mouth because I want to gag. But they don't know that, okay? They do not know that because we are not there to sell food. We are there to sell products. And the products will only be sold through the food, right? Because they are there to eat. They already know what they're going to get. They're going to get an amazing show experience. They're going to get to taste fun products. They're going to have time to chit-chat with their friends. They're going to get that all. So I know that the minute that I put something into a bowl or into a stainless steel bowl or into the quick cooker, it's going to come out amazing. I'm not worried about it's not going to be the right size. And like everything's measured. The rice is measured. The broth is measured. Everything is like right there. So I can just dump and go, right? Because you do not have that much time. Their attention span is limited. So you want to be organized. Organized. That's one of the party promises too. I also want to kind of ask the host, who's coming? That way you could tailor your show to, is it a bunch of stay-at-home moms? Is it a bunch of professionals? Is it a bunch of seniors? Who is coming? Is it a bunch of sports moms? Because if it's a bunch of sports moms, I am going into a whole spiel about fundraisers, right? Is it a bunch of young girls that are just coming off of work? Maybe they're getting engaged. I'm going to make sure I mention the bridal registries. So you want to tailor your show because every show has to be unique. It has to be an experience that's for that audience. You can't just have the same cookie cutter show, just like you can't have the same elevator pitch. It's just not going to fly, okay? It's got to be, you got to be adaptable. So now the guests start arriving. Now I'm already all set up, so I'm not worried about still setting up and all of that. I may have a little bit of stuff left to do, and then usually someone will say, "Oh, can I help you with that?" Yes, of course. So my version of a station style show is if someone really wants to help, I make them just do something while I'm setting up and doing things like that because you know that the people that arrive early, that's always the red flag. That those could be one of your #1 recruiting leads. Just as the people are that are helping you clean up and that stay late, they may not have wanted to ask a question during the demonstration, but they're asking now and they're lingering. Watch out for the lingerers. Watch out for the people that come early. And maybe because they're watching, they want to see what you do. So you have to give them that great experience because otherwise they don't want to deal with you, right? They don't want to work with you. Because remember, in the end, we are a relationship business. The people are not joining Pampered Chef, the company. They are joining you, with you. They need to work with you. They'll be mentoring you. So you always, like I said, it's always going back to making sure you're organized and you give them the best show. So now to sell. Why are you at the show? You're there to sell. Obviously, we want to make money. But in order for your host to earn the most rewards, people need to buy. What are you going to focus on, right? You have to work with the power tools. You have to. So since September 1st, since I've been using the quick cooker since February of last year, I have brought my quick cooker to every single party, everything. And I paint the picture of everything you can do with that monster, every single thing, every recipe you can do. I pass around the cookbook. I really love it. So do you love the power tool? Listen, if you don't believe in it, you ain't going to sell it. So you got to get to know that power tool. You got to love that power tool. But what about the other products in the book, right? I do a second recipe. And I always base that second recipe based on what the special is for the month that I want to book in, right? So I was doing stoneware recipes last month because February is stoneware month. And now at my February parties, I'm going to be doing rock crop recipes because now I want to book into March. So you're always looking ahead. Now here's the thing. Do not let the host control what you're making. You are in control of what you make because it all is about selling the products. So you're not going to do some weird obscure products that's not going to cross-sell what it is that you really want to do. So you are in control. And what I do is I make the host think that she's deciding. So I will send her 3 quick cooker recipes to choose from, right? So she's making the final decision. I don't really care which one it is because I know that it's going to showcase my particular product that I want to sell. So I do the salsa chicken, I do the chicken parm pasta, I do the risotto. I mean, the ones that are in the quick cooker book, right? And now that I have the modifications for the carnitas, I'm going to be offering that as my fourth because I posted